The Need for Speed games are known for a lot of things, including being a lot of things. While they're all racing games at the end of the day, they've gone in so many directions to capture different types of racing experiences. A majority of the games tend to be multi-platform releases on home consoles and handhelds, but there is one entry exclusive to Nintendo hardware. EA Montreal's take on the franchise released on the Wii and DS in 2009, Need for Speed Nitro. A game developed around the Wii's hardware capabilities and captive audience, Nitro offers a stylized arcade street racer, and brings its own flavor to the series that make it stand out. It's definitely not every Need for Speed fan's cup of tea, but for players that are along for the ride, they're in for a casual and colorful, but fast and fun arcade racer that, very much like the Wii, plays to the beat of its own drum. So with introductions out of the way, this is Need for Speed Nitro, a street racer with Wii-styled horsepower. Need for Speed Nitro is all about action-packed street racing, with plenty of drifting and nitro boosting, all while painting the city streets with your personalized graffiti spray and tag. You've got standard gas and occasional brakes, and steering is done by tilting the remote, which feels quite good using the Wii wheel. For those that prefer racing with an analog stick, the nunchuck and GameCube controller are also options. You'll want to drift on most turns, which is performed by tapping the brake while turning at a high enough speed. Letting off the gas momentarily to increase your grip will keep you away from the walls if you drift too wide. Driving fast, drifting, and other actions like drafting and catching air fill your nitro gauge, and boosting will help you reach much faster speeds than you could normally. You'll notice that the gauge is split in half, and the bottom half only fills once the top half is full. When the second gauge starts to fill, double tapping the nitro button will give you a faster boost. Just take care not to hit anything to keep the boost going until the meter runs out. If you take too many hard crashes, your car is much slower, and your boost meter gets locked out. This is where the track pickups come into play. Wrenches repair your car, and you can hold on to a wrench if your car is fine to immediately fix it later in a race. Police badges come in handy as your street racing antics catch the attention of cops on the road. Being in first place, running into obstacles, and hitting cop cars makes you an easier target, and badges can either decrease the heat on your end, or can be used to target another driver and increase their heat, causing the police to go after them instead, and make passing someone in front of you a whole lot easier. What makes Nitro stand out from any other racing game I've played is how the game acknowledges that you're in first place. It's a visual feature called Own It, where the track's background is decorated with colors and designs based on the leader's car, like you're all tagging the streets while you're racing. The designs change whenever the leader changes, so drive fast and stylish to make your mark and keep it that way. The street races of Nitro take place in 5 cities around the world: Rio de Janeiro, Cairo, Madrid, Singapore, and Dubai. Each city has 2 circuit tracks and a long straight on a highway for drag races. You'll be weaving through plenty of sharp turns on intersections, threading the needle through narrow alleys, drifting on interchanges, boosting on long straights, and jumping off a few ramps for some verticality. While the tracks do take place strictly within city limits, enough of their respective countries' atmosphere and infrastructure are part of the course designs to make them all feel unique. Now admittedly, the roads are sparse during races. Traffic shows up here and there, probably a technical limitation. But in the moments that they are around, they will force you to make some split decisions to get around them quickly, especially if the other drivers already cause a pileup when you least expect it. As you're being pursued by police cars, going for some of the riskier branches in the road, which often lead to a narrow but straight and faster path, instead of a wide turn that slows you down, make for great escapes and time savers. The only real criticism I have about the tracks is that I wish there were more of them, like how the DS version got San Diego as an additional city. But also consider that the complement to how enjoyable the tracks are, no matter how many times I raced on them. Nitro's garage features 30 cars to drive and customize. While that number is considerably smaller than mainline Need for Speed titles, I think there was a solid effort to get as much variety out of the cars chosen for the roster. There's a little bit of everything, from family models, to muscle cars, trucks, tuners, and exotic supercars. Some consideration was also probably made to opt for cars that would translate well to Nitro's design philosophy, which emphasizes exaggerated proportions, like the Ford Explorer for example. Like a lot of aspects about this game, I understand that the look of the cars isn't going to be for everyone, But as someone who immediately thought of all the Hot Wheels cars I played with, some of which were similarly styled renditions of real-world cars, I love the way they look here. Some cars either made their first appearance here, like the beauty that is the Corvette C6 ZR1, or have only been featured in this game, like the Nissan Cube and Tesla Roadster. Cars are categorized into 3 performance classes from C to A, with improved racing stats as you browse through higher classes. While the game provides you with presets for selectable cars so you can get right into racing, those who want a more personal touch with their ride can customize their car's paint, body kit parts, and the graffiti and tag displayed when they're owning it. Possibly to keep the dynamic loading of designs on the background snappy, the selectable paint colors for cars can't be any combination or shade that you want, but paintbrushes may help you get a more specific color that you're looking for. You use motion controls like you're working an airbrush to place decals and paint with various shapes, which is a novel way of doing things, but accuracy can be a bit finicky, especially when you're trying to rotate a brush. The mask and mirror options can help keep things tidy. Almost every major part of the car's exterior has swappable body parts, but keep in mind that they're just for show. The performance stats are set in stone. While I was painting my cars, I ended up basing them around the tag and graffiti I chose for them, and any combination of each can be mixed and matched together. I normally don't spend a whole lot of time with most car customization tools in games, but perhaps it was because the game encourages making your own personal mark via the Own It mechanic, I put in that little bit of extra effort to ensure everything about my ride's coordinated design-wise. For a game that doesn't play like a conventional Need for Speed, Nitro also looks the part, trading pseudo-realism for cartoony, stylized visuals, with caricatured cars and colorful graffiti plastered all over the track. As someone who loves colorful art styles in their games, Nitro hooked me the first time I saw it, and was the quality that helped me remember the game until I bought it for myself a few years ago. The unique art direction has also helped this game's graphics age a lot better in my opinion, as opposed to if it were a downgraded version of one of the HD console games. The frame rate and camera angles also help sell the game's frantic sense of speed, especially when you're double boosting with flame trails coming off the tires, the camera zooms in a bit closer behind your car, and a bit of screen shake for good measure, all while your chosen flare is painted around the track just as fast as you're moving. Though in all fairness, the cinematic stuff can occasionally impair your ability to see obstacles in front of you, and there aren't any additional camera angles to help you see better. The mixtape of licensed music chosen for this game is very much Need for Speed through and through, with modern hits from genres suitable for racing like rock, pop, techno, and rap, and at least one or two of them bound to be a favorite whenever it plays. I tended to race a lot better whenever Code of the Road, Kotov Syndrome, and especially I Got You Dancing came on. Lastly, good sound design is crucial to helping make the player feel good whenever they're doing cool stuff, and the sound effects used for drifting and boosting make hitting the A and B buttons especially enticing in this game. Nitro splits the racing action between arcade mode for quick and to-the-point races, and career mode for a series of races and challenges that will turn you into a street racing master. Both modes allow you to play all the game's race and event types, so I'll cover those first. There's of course the standard circuit race, where you race against a field of rivals and the relentless police cars for a set number of laps, and the first to the finish wins. Elimination races have you racing to stay out of last place after every 30 seconds, and the driver that falls behind when time runs out is eliminated, with the winner being the last racer standing. Getting wrecked by cops or obstacles is something you want to avoid, as a bad hit at the wrong time can cost you the race. Using police badge pickups to target drivers ahead of you come in the most handy here. Drag races are tests of acceleration through well-timed gear shifting, boosts, and lane switching to draft and avoid oncoming traffic. Time attacks task you with driving through a section of the track in just a few seconds, avoiding groups of pylons that add time if you hit them. The strategy comes down to finding the shortest route possible, oftentimes through tougher corridors where you could easily hit a wall, and when you need to boost to shave off precious seconds. Drift challenges are all about chaining drifts together to earn points, and having a high enough score before you cross the finish line. The game doesn't do a good job of explaining how to get more points from drifts, as just drifting on turns alone won't give you the number of points needed. But if you can keep a flow going of drifting back and forth throughout the entire section of the track without hitting anything, and keep your speed up by boosting while drifting, which also helps maintain the drift angle, your score starts to multiply and add up much quicker. Speed traps are challenges where you do whatever you can to go as fast as possible, passing through 3 speed cameras laid out on the track. Only the speed you're going as you reach the camera is what counts, and the sum of your 3 recorded speeds determine your final score. You'll need a combination of good driving lines to avoid hitting walls and the barricades of police cars, drifting enough between cameras to earn plenty of nitro, and planning out when and where you're going to pour it on just as you reach a camera. Whether it's by yourself or with up to 4 players, your time as a street racer will be split between arcade and career mode. Arcade mode lets you play through the aforementioned race types with any choice of track, car, and race settings. In career mode, you'll play through a series of 3 cups with race events in all 5 cities, with set difficulty levels and side challenges to complete in a mostly open-ended order. You complete events, earn money for unlocking more cars, and earn stars for completing specific objectives in every event. These objectives are finishing first or in the top 3, achieving a best lap record, and building up enough style points from racing actions. You don't need to earn every star in the same attempt, so if you weren't able to get them all in the first try, you can always go back to get the ones you missed. You'll also want to make sure you properly go back to the event select screen after an attempt, so the money you earn for a race is saved. That way you're still making progress towards saving up for better cars. There's also a few special challenges exclusive to career mode called test drives, where you have to complete an event with a predetermined car, usually a much faster one than the car is currently available to you. As you earn more stars, new events, customization parts, and cars are either unlocked or made available for purchase, and also increases your racer's rank, working your way up from a nobody to a street king. The order you complete events in is up to you, so once you've unlocked events in another city, you can go there whenever. If you earn all 32 stars in a city, you'll unlock a special collectible car, the same one that the city's top racer has been driving. Once you have enough stars, the Grand Prix will be available, which is a series of 5 races, one from each city, earning points for how well you place in each race, and the driver with the most at the end wins. Winning a Grand Prix will unlock some collectible cars from the class you've completed, and some cars from the next class are made available to purchase and progress further through the career. You'll be completing the same events you did in the Bronze Cup with Class C cars for both the Silver and Gold Cups with Class B and A cars respectively. The second and third time around the same challenges go by a lot faster since you're racing in much better cars, and you'll get much more of a challenge from the increasingly difficult and aggressive computer opponents, plus more demanding star requirements. But in my opinion, the faster the cars, the more fun the challenges were to complete, especially if a car you like is in one of the higher classes. The AI on the opponent drivers and cops can get annoying at times, and sometimes you'll be just a few seconds or points away from getting a star, but they're nothing that's in practice and the right car can't overcome. Any collectible cars that you've unlocked, and those currently in your customized garage, are also playable in arcade mode. This also includes new presets for cars that were purchasable in career mode, plus more slots for customized cars that can be added through the showroom, so you can keep on racing and owning it wherever and however you like. Like I said, I get it. Need for Speed Nitro is a departure from more traditional games in the series, but there's nothing wrong with being different, especially when the distinction is done well. It's light on content, but the cool cars and tracks you do have are very replayable, and the dynamic background graphics have never made being in first place feel good quite like this anywhere else. I enjoy various Need for Speed games for their own reasons, and being a fast and loud arcade racer that makes driving with the Wii wheel feel cool, boasts stylish visuals, and has an exaggerated drive appeal that satisfies my need for speed in its own way, are the reasons why I love Nitro so much. As always, this has been fun, and I'm already looking forward to covering another amazing racing game. So I hope you'll check out what I've got in store for next time, and thank you for watching.